Alright, I just got back from a Craigslist deal, and with me, if I can not drop it, I got a Cisco MLS, a multi-layer switch, which is just known as a regular switch with routing capability, and a Cisco router. You're never going to believe how much these cost me. They were free. The guy said he used them to get his CCNA, and he didn't need them anymore. He says they work. Didn't come with power cords, didn't come with anything. This one, as you can see, it is fiber equipped, which should be interesting. Get some good fiber training. And they seem pretty old. Some of these stickers on this say, I'm gonna have to blur some of these, I think. Some of these stickers do say that they're quite old, you know, like 2001 and stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have a console cable with me. I've done most of my CCNA training at school on campus, and my MacBook Pro doesn't have a serial port or a USB port, so I need to order a special cable. So I'll see you in 5 days. If the camera would actually focus, I got the necessary cable. It is a USB Type-C or Thunderbolt 3 to the correct pinout for a console. I forget what standard it is. You can look at the colors there. Or not. Anyways, so this is the one that I need. And I have a MacBook, as you can see. So I cannot use PuTTY, so I'm going to have to use the native terminal and the SSH, or actually I think I'll be using the screen, which allows you to access ports. It's screen, it's like a program. Anyways, I haven't actually fired either of these up yet. I'm going to test out the multi-layer switch, and for those of you who are wondering, this is a Catalyst 2949G-L3, the L3 obviously being that it's a layer 3 switch. So I haven't actually fired these up yet. I'm assuming they work, so I'm just going to plug them in. I'm going to be using a Apple style, or a MacBook, or iMac, more rather, actually to this one, power cord. I'm just going to plug it in. Switches do not have on and off buttons. These do, but seems to be okay. We have status that just went red, now it is green. We have PST and RPSU on, which is good. Let's fire up the terminal and see what's going on. First, oh yeah, I guess I should show plugging it into the console port, just like that, and then plugging it right into my MacBook Pro. This is a 2019, or 2000, it's a mishmash. Alright, now that I'm in terminal, what I'm first going to do is I'm going to do ls/dev. I'll leave a marker where you can skip all this boring terminal stuff, even though this is the most interesting part, in my opinion. So, I have done ls/dev/, and now we have a list of all interfaces. So, this interface up here, this is TTY USB serial. Of course, it's a serial conversion adapter, so we're going to grab that. And now I'm going to do screen /dev / then that. Then that is going to bring me, that should bring me to my console port, and as you can see it says, would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? Of course I'm going to click no, because that is incredibly boring, and the initial configuration dialog is useless in my opinion. I'm sure any good networking nerd will think the same. So this actually worked first try. It doesn't look like there's a password. It's a little bit slow. Oh, there we go. Everything looks okay. It looks like the software is copyrighted at 2000, compiled January 2000. So this is a little bit older than I thought. I was expecting this to be, wow, I was expecting this to be at least 2010, but I guess 2010 devices are still okay. Alright, so now that we are actually into the router, there's no password set, which really surprises me. There is no password set at all, meaning I can just whatever I want to this. I think I'm gonna name this, ML MLS for multi-layer switch. So it seems that this switch is completely ready for configuration. It's running fine, it detects everything right. So I'm now going to try it with the router and see what that does. Alright, and it seems that this has loaded, and as you can see, there is a password. You can see that this says Weymouth Con0 is now available, so that's the name of it. And yeah. Alright, so it's actually about a month later. I moved my room around, as you can kind of see. So if the lighting's different, that's why. Anyways, it's about a month later. I got very caught up doing school and stuff, so I haven't had much time to work on the router and switch. But I now have a VM loaded up in my MacBook. This is a Windows 10. I believe this is Enterprise Edition VM. So the issue that I was having with my native terminal is that I couldn't get it to do Control Break because this keyboard, Windows keyboard on a Mac with weird settings, it wasn't working. Luckily with TerraTerm, if you can see I go Serial, you can see I can go Control and then I can do Send Break. Send Break, alright? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna send the break as it's loading the disk image, and then that's going to send the break in the system, hence send break, that will boot it into something called ROM monitor, which is the read-only memory monitor. Alright, so now you see we're loading up. I'm going to do send break, and just like that, we're in ramen. So I got to go on my phone and see what the command is, and just as my phone says, if it'll focus, it's CUNFREG and then that little bit of hexadecimal. Just like that, it's been typed in, and press enter. Just like that, gives us ROM 1, ROM monitor 1, ROM monitor 2 after the changes have been saved. And now I can simply turn off the router, turn it back on, and hopefully, let me expand this here, hopefully everything will be good with the world. We will see. Alright, so I'm getting an error message. It says, pre and post compression image sizes disagree. So I'm not exactly sure why it's doing that. It gave the OK sequence twice in a row, and it's giving me more things, but it looks like it just loaded the whatchamacallit, and just like that, initial router configuration, no, we don't use that. And just like that, I apologize for the bad camera work, but our self-check just went on, our self-check for all the ports just went on, and like that I should have. And just like that, I'm in user exec mode, and I can go into privileged exec mode and all that. No passwords, no nothing. So what does this mean? This means that I have both machines unlocked. So I have this one, and then I have the switch, which is over there. Now the big thing for me, at least, is that I'll be able to train on these. They're not up to date. They don't have IPv6 on them. But lucky for me, I do most of my IPv6 training actually in class, so the fact that these don't have IPv6 isn't much of a big deal. The good thing is that most Cisco labs only require a switch and a router, and the fact that that's also a layer 3 switch with layer 3 lockout is great. That means I can do most Cisco labs that aren't IPv6. So, now that I know they work, I need a place to put them. Because I am seriously out of storage space on my desk. Like, my MacBook usually goes there, and now that I have a amplifier here, I've actually been storing them on my couch over here for a while now. So, my plan is to build a little server rack for my amp, the router and switch, and some gear, like the Ethernet cables that I need to hook these up, out of some lumber that I just got. It's going to be out of some scrap lumber that I found in the garage. Actually, I think it was buried outside, and then I got some 2x3s from Home Depot. So yeah, let's go build that. Alright, so basically what I need is I need a rack that can hold the 18x18 switch and the smaller router and my amp. And I'll probably throw in an extra shelf if I can for cable management and stuff, and if I ever get another networking device. The switches and routers aren't too heavy. I think they're like 20 pounds each, which for this lumber that I have here isn't going to be too much. I got that, That's a piece of 1/2-inch plywood. Got some 1x3s, and then I have some miscellaneous scrap right there that came from the ground. So yeah, let's get to work. Alright, so now I have the 4 legs cut, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the remaining 2x3 and I'm going to cut it into 19s, and then I'm going to make basically a square of 19s. There's going to be one going across here. I'll drill a few pilot holes so that the wood doesn't crack, and we're out of wood glue. I don't know where the wood glue is, or else I would wood glue it just for, you know, keep it together a little bit better. Otherwise, this is coming together pretty well, and I'll put one more support about 3/4 of the way down out of that, or I'll resort to using the scrap wood, and then I'll start ripping this plywood here, and we'll be done. Well, it is built. It's looking a little bit rough. As you can see, those are a little bit off. But overall, it's gonna do what I need it to do. It's off balance. Well, it's probably off balance because it's not built the best, but this floor is also extremely uneven. But no, it's sturdy all right, and it's definitely gonna do what I need it to do. Next thing I need to do is, worst case scenario, I can always chalk up one of the legs, but this is going to be going in my carpeted room, so it's not really a huge deal. Next thing I need to do is cut this up and somehow make shelves. So yeah. Alright, so this is what it ended up looking like. I know it's kind of a mess right now. I ran out of lumber. I ran out of this here lumber. Some of it was bad, apparently it was all rotten somehow. But I did get a shelf in. You can see I used these old painted frame rails. Actually, those are true. That is, what do you call it? Anyways, I used those wooden frame rails, and then, yeah, so I made one shelf for now. I'm gonna have my my amplifier is gonna be on top, because the way I have these wired, it's kind of a mess, and the cords and the wires can only really reach to that very point. That's why I had it there. And then the router I'm gonna have on a small shelf right above the switch. I've already tested this setup out. It works great because I have access to all the ports. You know, obviously right here I got my setup, and then right over here I got the switch, so I can do basically anything. I also have my iMac over there, that I'm gonna put right here so I can do different Cisco labs. So if you guys have enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and like. I do a lot of tech videos like this, as you can see from the green screen behind me, which I'll key in something interesting there. I'm going to be doing a lot of tech tutorial videos very soon. I have a whole thing planned out. That's why I have the green screen here. Otherwise, if you have enjoyed, I do lots of stuff like this. I'm going to be doing a lot more networking videos in the future. So yeah, see you next time.